This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So in previous session, we have discussed some of the swing components. So today we are going to discuss remaining swing components. So in previous class, we have seen about the J label, J text field, and also about the J applet. All these things we have seen. Now we are going to see about J toggle button. So if you in previous session we have seen about what J button. So J button is acts as a push button, but here your J toggle button is a variation of push button. That means what, it looks like a push button, but here we are, it is some variation is there. Okay, generally for a push button we are going to have just we are going to press it and leave it, but here for this toggle button, toggle, okay, means what, two states will be there, on off type. Okay, here we are going to have what, one is pushed or released. That means if we consider any button, for example, if you are going to have any CPU button, for example, if you are going to press it, it will push it back, and when I'm going to press once again, it is going to come front. That means released. Better example, if you are having a normal table fan, there is the switches will be there. If I am going to click on the button, it will pushed into the fan. If I am going to press once again, it is going to be released. In the same way, you can see these two variations in our toggle button, but you cannot observe this type of variations in our normal J button. So here we are going to have two states. One is pushed or released. Okay, or we can say it as a popped up and popped back. Okay, right. Now here J toggle button is going to implement an interface called as abstract button. That means here one interface is there which is going to be implemented by your toggle button. That is what, abstract button. So here for every, if you are going to consider any component, okay, generally it is going to generate an event. For example, J button is going to generate action event. Scroll bar in your AWT events is going to generate some event. Checkbox, everything is going to generate some event except your label and J label. So in the same way here, J toggle button is going to generate an event called as item listener. Sorry, an event, which event? Item event. Already you know, if item event is going to be generated, who is going to handle it? Item listener. Which method is going to be uh, overridden or implemented? That is item state changed. Already we have seen these concepts in our AWT buttons also. Yeah, sorry, AWT components also. Okay, right. Now let us see the example for this one. Here just we have to remember some points like J button is some variation of your general normal push button. Here the main difference between J button and your toggle button is your toggle button looks just like a push button, but it acts as what? It is having two buttons, two states. One is pushed state and another one is released. Okay, you can observe when we are going to execute the program. So that means what, whenever you are going to push the toggle button, press the toggle button, what happens? It will is going to be pushed. You can observe that whenever you are going to click on second time, it is going to release. That means what, pops up. When we are going to push, it will go inside. When you are going to press once again, it is going to release, come back. Okay, so here it is going to implement which interface? Abstract button interface. Okay, these main points you have to remember. Okay, here it is going to generate which event? Item event. So internally we have to implement which method? Item state changed. Okay, that method we have, inside that method we have to write some functionality of your toggle button, what it has to be done. Okay, so here you have to understand this toggle button is the super class of some of the classes which we are going to see next. Remember that. Right, now see here we are going to import some of the classes, and next here already we know in previous session I have discussed about how to create a frame. In two ways we can create. All those concepts we have seen there. Now here I am going to consider okay, see here, just I'm going to call what, just I'm going to create an object of type J toggle button example. Whenever I'm going to create some object, internally constructor is going to be called. So from here it will go to where, which constructor? It is J toggle button example, default constructor is there. So we are going to a class called as JToggleButton, and we are going to search for what constructor called as JToggleButton exam. So the control comes here. So set title, what it is going to extend. See here, JFrame it is going to extend. That means now we are going to implement the concept of JToggleButton on your JFrame. That means in this way also, in previous session we have seen two ways. One is what, by creating an frame JFrame object, and second one is what, by extending a JFrame. In these two ways we can create a frame. So here I am going to use extending a JFrame. So here what happens, set title. For whom I am going to set title? By default it will be set for your JFrame. What is that? JToggleButton with item listener example. Layout, which layout I am going to give for this JFrame? New flow layout. In the same way, set JToggleButton. Next, set action. All these I am going to set for this JFrame. Now see, whenever I am going to use set JToggleButton, it will come here, and it is going directly. We can write the concept this one here also, but generally I have taken some methods here. So in the place of this set JToggleButton, I can use these two buttons here, no problem. So what I'm going to do here, new JToggleButton on. That means what, one state is what, on. Next one, I'm going to add off this button. Two buttons I'm going to create. One is what, on button. I'm going to add this button. Next one, what happens, set action. So here once again set action is there. In the set action I'm going to create what, I'm going to add the item listener for this button. Next, already we know that whenever we are going to have whatever we are going to be done on this toggle button, internally event is going to be done. Item in response to that item event, item listener is going to be responded. In the same way, item state change has to be executed. Now here, whenever we are going to press on that button, internally we are coming to this item state change, and we are going to check for if button is selected. That means what, if button is going to be selected, then what it has to be done, button is set to off. Sir, initially it has to be in on state now. So already when I'm going to create it, what it has to be, what it has set it as, it has set it as on. That means initially if you see on a button, it will be what, on state. Next, when we are going for, when we click on that one, that means when button is selected, that means when we are going to click on that, what it is going to be generated, off. Then that text is what, on that button the text will be off. Else, that means else means what, if you are not going to select that one, it will be on. You have to understand this program. See, whenever button is selected, that means if button is there, for example here I am going to have one button like in this way. So generally what I have placed here, while creating I am going to place a text called as on. So initially it will be visible in this way. So whenever if it is selected, that means if I'm going to click on this one, so what happens, off is going to be message. Okay, off. If I'm going to click once again on this one, then what happens, it is going to be printed as on. If you are not going to click on this one, what happens, the message will be on. If you are going to select that one, what happens, it is going to print you off. Okay, all right, let us see this example so that you can get a clear clarity on this one. So for every concept in this Java Swings and AWT, you have to give an example for that one, for components. So we are seeing about JToggleButton example. Okay. So remember, for every component, it may be Java normal AWT components, or it may be your Swing components. Compulsory one example has to be given, and description has to be written for that. An explanation of that program has to be there. So as it is the frame, we are having a main method. So we are going to execute in this way. If it is an applet, we have to go for applet. See here, whenever you are going to get the output on a button, we are going to get what? On. As it is a toggle button, see, when I'm going to click on this one, first observe this button. Now, when I'm going to click on this one, what is going to happen? See, observe. See, it is going to change. It is going to be pressed or pushed inside. So the message is going to print what? Off. When I'm going to click back it, you can observe the difference. See, okay, it is released. It is pushed. It is released. Okay. So this type of button is called as toggle button. Now, this is a small example. You can write any type of example by using this toggle. Okay. Toggle button. Right. Next, let us see one more component. Checkbox. Already we have performed some example like traffic signal by using this checkboxes in our AWT. Here, this is a J checkbox. So already I have given you a small explanation about this J toggle button, which acts as a super class of some of the classes of swing. In the same way here, if you observe, J checkbox is also J toggle button is super class of J checkbox. That means the features of this is going to be acquired by this J checkbox. So when the user selects or deselects a checkbox, an item event is going to be generated. Already we know that. So whenever a checkbox is selected internally, what happens? An item event is going to be generated. Automatical item listener is going to be acquire that event, and it is going to perform the task inside a item state changed. Okay. Here we are having many methods, but generally what are the important methods we are going to have, that we are going to discuss. So in the checkbox also we are having two options. What are those options? Select or deselect. That means here two states are there, select state and deselect state. So which is taken by J toggle button. J toggle button is also having how many states? Two states. Okay. So here one is what? Select. One is selected and second one is deselected. Already we know how checkbox will be there. Here main points to be remembered is J checkbox is going to extend the properties of J toggle button, and it is going to when we are going to select or deselect a checkbox, we are going to get which event? Item event is going to be generated. In return, who is going to receive the notification for this one? Item listener. So whenever item listener is going to receive the notification regarding this item event, internally it is going to uh, uh, call a method called as, or execute a method called as item state changed. Okay. So if you want to know whether the checkbox is selected or not, whether it is selected or deselected, we are having a method called as isSelected. IsSelected is a method to check whether the checkbox is selected or not. In the same way, we are going to have a getText method, which can be applied here. So getText means what? We are going to assign some text for these checkboxes. If you want to get the, see here, I'm having two checkboxes here, Java one, another one is C++. So whenever I'm going to, if I want the text, that means Java, then I have to use a method called as getText. Don't worry, we are not going to see these methods in our example. Just remember two methods we can use which are important. That one is isSelected and getText. That means isSelected determines what? Whether your checkbox is selected or not. GetText is going to return you what? It is going to return you the text that is corresponding to your checkbox. Okay. Now let us see the example. So see here in this example also I have, generally we will take frames only. Here I have taken J frame, but here I have not extended J frame. You have to observe that. Why I have not extended? I have created an object of J frame. Any case we can take. When I'm going to create an object of J frame, that is F, I have named it as what? Checkbox example. That means after creating a frame, the name of that frame will be what? That means in that bar we are going to get checkbox example. Next one, I'm going to create one checkbox. The name of that checkbox is what? Checkbox 1. What is the text I'm going to place for the checkbox? C++. So I'm going to keep the boundaries. Next, in the same way, checkbox 2 I'm going to create. For that, I'm going to keep a text called as Java. In the same way, true. Already we know that whenever we are going to give a true for this, initially it is going to be selected. So remember that in these two cases, I'm going to give true for what? Java. So when I'm going to execute this one, you can observe the what is the need of this true. Next, checkbox to here also I'm going to set some boundaries. Next, f dot add off. I'm going to add first one what? Checkbox one. Next one is what? Checkbox two. Already you know what is the use of this add method. So whenever we are going to use add method, the component is going whatever the argument we are going to, whatever the component we are going to pass here, that component is going to be added to this f. F means what? JFrame. That means by using the method called as add, these components are going to be added to containers, or we can say it as other components. So first we are going to add what? Checkbox one. Second, we are going to add what? Checkbox two. What is the size of your frame? 400, 400. What is the layout? I'm not going to use any layout here. Next, set visible of true. So to make frame as visible, we are going to use this one. If you are not going to use set visible as true, if you are going to set it as a false, for example, f dot set visible of false, what happens? Your frame is not going to visible. Already we have seen this example in our AWT. Okay, now let us execute this program so that you can observe how checkboxes are going to be implemented. So our example name is checkbox example. So as we are seeing only basic examples because it is only introduction to swings. So see, if you observe here, I have given set boundaries very low so that it is not printed Java fully. Anyway, here you can observe initially the tick is given for Java. Reason is what? Reason is initially I have placed what here? See here, I have placed what? Where? Here true I have placed, so that if I place true here, what happens? For the C++ also we are getting what? Selected. Let us see. So first observe this one. So for this one I got a tick mark. Now I'm going to change this one. Here also I am going to place true, for example. So I am saving it. See now, you can observe the difference. For 2, I am going to get the tick marks. Here you have to observe one thing. So when I want to, it is in one selected state. If I am going to click on this one, it is going to be in deselected state. Here also I can click. That means at the same time, I can select both the items here. Remember that. So both see here, when I'm clicking this one, is it disappearing? So otherwise, this is the initial state, for example. When I'm going to click on this one, it means what? I'm selecting C++. So by this one, internally we can perform any action or any item state changed. But here, when I'm going to click on this one, you have to observe that the C++ is not going to be deselected. You have to observe because the same type of example we are going to see next. Okay, there you can understand what is the difference. There is radio buttons we are going to see after this one. Okay, so there you can see the difference. Sir, generally if you are going to select only, if I want to select only C++, why this Java also is going to be selected? So as it is a checkbox, we can have it. If you don't want to select also, we can write a code. But generally I want to show you that here any number of items can be selected here at a time. But if you want to select only one button, then we have to go to radio buttons. Next concept is the radio buttons concept only. Don't worry. So here in this way, sir, initially I don't want tick mark, sir. Then please remove these things. Nothing is going to be changed. Just a tick mark is not going to be presented when we are going to execute our programs. Initially we are having what? Tick marks when we are going to execute. Now I don't want those tick marks initially. So see, now you can observe here. What happened? No tick marks initially. If I want tick marks, what I have to place? True. That means generally initial I want to select anyone. So that I am going to place true. I don't want to select anyone initially. I want to make it as empty boxes. So don't keep any boolean value. Okay. Right. This is about your checkbox. So these are the basic programs, because if I explain you a very complex programs, you cannot understand what is meant by checkbox clearly. So that if you understand this concept, basic programs on these checkboxes or any of the components, it is very easy to understand the complex programs also. Okay, right. Now let us see next class. That is when compared. See, you have to remember all these things. First, we have seen what toggle button. It is having two states. In the same way, now we have seen what checkbox. It is also having two states. So this checkbox is going to extend what? Which class? J toggle button class. In the same way, now we are going to see a concept called as J radio button. Here it is also a button. So here it is also going, J radio button is also going to extend whom? J toggle button. Okay. Remember, this is the important point. So toggle button is a superclass of J radio button. That means the properties of J toggle button is going to be acquired by J radio button. Okay. Right. Now here we have to observe. Already we know the concept of mutual exclusion. That means what? If one is going to be accessing anything, other one should not access. We have seen this concept in our multi-threading concept like synchronization, and also in our operating system also we have seen the concept of mutual exclusion. In deadlock concept also we have seen mutual exclusion. That means only at any particular time only one can access it. Okay, here radio buttons also is a group of mutual exclusive buttons. That means what? If one button is going to be selected, other button should not select. That means only at a time one button can be selected. But if you see your checkboxes, what happened? At a time multiple checkboxes can be selected. Okay, but here the concept is different. Only at a time only one radio button has to be selected, because here what? Radio buttons are group of mutually exclusion buttons. Here I am saying what? Group of. That means what? Radio buttons has to be grouped here, so that in that group, if I am going to select one button, one radio button, remaining buttons should not be selected. Sir, why here we have to make our radio buttons as group? First concept, because if you are not going to make, or if you are not going to add these radio buttons as a group, what happens means each and every button is going to act as a separate radio button. Then mutual exclusive concept will not be applicable for this one. Then you can click on all the radio buttons, you can select like your check boxes, then there will be no difference between your check boxes and your radio buttons. So first what we have to do, we have to create our radio buttons. Later we have to group them. Okay, and we can perform the our concept. You have to understand this one. We have to if you are unable to group these radio buttons, we cannot see the difference between our check boxes and radio buttons. So first concept is what? We have to create a radio buttons, and we have to make them as a group, so that internally we are going to get the feature of what? Mutual exclusion. Okay, that means what? In that group, if at least one radio button is selected, remaining other radio buttons cannot be selected. If you want to let us consider 10 buttons are there, you have selected first button. Next I want to select seventh button, for example. When I'm going to click on seventh radio button, what happens? Automatically first button will be released. That means what? Deselected. Now seventh button is going to be selected. Okay, let us see all these concepts in our example. Anyway, so here what happens? In which only one button can be selected at a time. We know about this mutual exclusion. So here, to create our button groups, I am going to have a class called as button group. So to group all these buttons as a group, I am having a class called as what? Button group class. So by using the class button group, I am going to group these objects as one group. So without grouping the buttons, we are not going to get the feature of mutual exclusion. If you are making all individual buttons as it is, so then where is the mutual exclusion? If you are executing by only one object, there is no need of mutual exclusion, because only one object is there. On that object we can perform either selecting or deselecting. If group of objects are there, then we can speak about the concept of mutual exclusion. Okay, when there is, for example, when there is only one thread, no need of talking about synchronization. Okay, if multiple threads are there, then we are going to have the concept of synchronization. In the same way here also, if individual buttons are separated individually, what happens? There is no need of mutual exclusion. So that we are going to group all the buttons by using the concept of button group class. The class name is what? Button group. So here, this J radio button is going to generate three types of events. Remember, generally we have seen what one or only one generally action event or item event. In that way we have seen, but here it is going to generate what? Action event, item event, and also change event. This is a new name for you. Change event. It is also event. When it is going to occur means it is going to occur when a button is going to be selected or deselected. Okay, remember that when this change event is occurring means each time the button selection changes. That means what? Initially I'm going to select it, so tick mark or dot is going to be placed. Next time if I am going to click on the same radio button, it is going to be deselected. So how, which event is going to be occurring here? Change event. Okay, item event means what? Whether item is selected or not, which of the following radio button is selected, so internally related item state change is going to be executed. In the same way, action event also you know already, but here you have to observe only change event. So whenever action event is going to be occurred means that when already you know how it is going to be handled. Your internally, whenever action event is going to be occurred, internal action listener is going to be received a notification, and internally action performed is going to be implemented. Okay, right. So change event means when this change event is going to be occur means each time the button selection changes. That means initially nothing is present. If you are going to place, if you are selecting that one, some tick marker dot is going to be placed. Let us see the example so that you can observe. Okay, so see, for every component I'm giving example. Okay, so you can understand easily. Okay, right. See here, I have taken only two radio buttons here. So see the output, I will explain the program. So now two radio buttons are there here. So what are the two radio buttons? R1, R2, which is given by A male. That means radio button is created with a text called as A male. Next one, R2 is created and B female. And here I'm going to set some boundaries. Next, see here, I'm going to create a group called as button group BG. In that BG, what I'm adding? Add of R1. That means this R1 is belonging to which group now? BG, which is a button group, and also R2. That means here, if I select this one cannot be selected. If I select second radio button, first one cannot be selected. I will show you that. Next, F dot set size. Okay, all of these things you know. You have to observe. First, see here. First, I have to create a radio buttons. Next, I have to add them to your button group. Later, I have to add your components to our frame. Now, see if I select this one, you can create you can create action event or internally some item event. Just here I have shown you the check radio buttons. I have not performed any type of events here. Just you can observe here only change events. So here initially what happens, now I have selected this one. Initially nothing is selected here. Now A is selected here. If I select this one, what happens? As this is a mutual exclusion objects, exclusive objects, if I select one, other cannot be selected. So already male is selected. If I try to click on female, what happens? Male is going to be deselected. Okay, initially both are not going to be selected. So whenever you want to select anyone, only one can be selected among these buttons, because these two buttons belong to one group. Which group? Button group. So whenever we are going to add these buttons, what happens? Internally it is having a feature of mutually exclusive. So in this group two are there. So if one is selected, if I add 10 also in a group, only one can be selected. If I select one, automatically other cannot be selected because of whom? Mutually exclusive nature. Okay. Now see, if I select this one, which event is going to be occurred? Change event. See, now this is what the J radio button is having this state. Okay. Now I am going to click. That means what happens? Change is occurred for this radio button. So internally, which is going to be occurred? Change event is going to be occurred. Okay. This is your example for a J radio button. Right. Now next one is J tabbed pan. So till now we have seen many examples. So already which we have executed in our lab sessions. But now this is somewhat different when compared to all other components. That is, already if you see the class name, what is tabbed pan? So first see this one. What is this tab? Tab means what? Already you know all these are tabs. Here what you are observing, see here you what are observing are each and every one is a tab. Or if you consider our Google Chrome, each and every one is a tab, new tab you can observe. Those are called as what? Tabs. Whenever you are going to select one tab, it is highlighted, okay, or it is pressed. If you are going to select one more, it is selected. If you are at a time, how many tabs can be selected? Only one tab can be selected. So this is the concept of tabs. That means you are going to observe a group of tabs which are linked. If you see our Google Chrome, tabs are what? Connected to each other. But at a time, how many tabs can be connected? Only, how many tabs can be selected? Only one tab can be selected. In the same way, in the tabbed pan also. Pan means what? It is nothing but one container. Let us think it as a container where it is going to contain group of tabs, where we can place a group of tabs. So see, it manages a set of components by linking them with tabs. So components may be anything. It may be button or it may be anything. But here your tabbed pan is going to do what? Each and every component is linked. Each and every component is going to be considered as one tab, and those are going to be linked here. So see, selecting a tab causes the component associated with the tab come to the forefront. That means what? It indicates what we are going to select it. Next, the general procedure. See, what we have to do first, we have to create. What we have to create? We have to create a J tabbed pan. That means what? We have to create a J tabbed pan object. Next one, add each tab by calling a add tab. So I will show you all these concept in our example. Next, add the tabbed pan to the content pan. So content pan is nothing but your container. For that some container, I am going to add this tabbed pan. So see, here I'm going to consider one frame. Next, I'm going to take one text area. Remember that I'm going to take text area and one J panel. I'm going to add TA. TA means what? Text area to that J panel. And I'm going to take second P2, P3. And next I'm going to take what? Tabbed pan, TP. Okay. So I'm going to set the boundaries for that one. In that I'm having what? Main, visit and help. So first, if you see the output, it is easy to understand the program also, because you are new to these things. So if I explain also, it is somewhat difficult to understand. If you see the output, then if you come back to the example, then it is easy to understand. See now. Right. Now, one minute. I have not saved with Java. I'll save again. Okay. Right. Now see. So if you observe this output, see here, we are going to get what? I will show you the output and also program at the same time. So now see, JFrame is created. 1 minute. See, JFrame is created. JFrame. That means we are going to get this JFrame. Sir, I want some title, sir. No, don't worry. Write some title here. This is tabbed pan. You can write this one. So later what happens? If I save and execute here, this is tabbed one will be printed. Next, P1 dot. Sorry, already here I have created text area. So P1 dot add of text area. That means what happens here? Here some text area is going to be added. Next, P1 dot add of TA. So I have added it one in this pen, in this panel. Next, P2 panel I have created. So you can observe these things. P2 is panel, P3 is also panel, and I have created one tabbed pan, TP. Okay, our concept is this tabbed pan only, TP. I'm going to set the boundaries. So this is a tabbed pan. Okay, so TP dot add off. That means for this TP tabbed pan, I'm going to add what? Main to P1. This is P1. See, P1 means what? J panel. For this, I'm going to add what? Main. For main, I'm going to add, for TP, I'm going to add main for P1. Next, for P2, I'm going to add visit. This is C. Now, next one. Third one, I'm going to add help. This is third one. So F dot add of TP. Entire thing. That means what? TP contains what now? If you have to understand, TP is a tabbed pan which is going to contain, where we are going to add to the tabbed pan, that is main, visit and help. For this main, what I'm going to add? P1. What is meant by P1? TA. Next, I'm going to add P2 and P3 also. Okay, already P2 and P3 also nothing but what? J panel. See, if you observe here, this is not going to be changed. This is not going to be changed. Only whenever I'm going to select, what happens? It is going to be selected and it is going to look like what? It comes front to the foreground. Next, when I select this one, it looks like what? It is going to select it and it comes to the foreground. So this is called as what? Tabbed pan. Okay. So if I click this one, something has to be happened here. You can write the code, no problem. If I click this one, something has to be happened. You can click. For example, it is a Google Chrome. For example, here I have opened some Gmail. When I'm going to click here, what is going to be shown here? Gmail. When I'm going to click on Facebook, let us consider this is a Facebook tab. Here, Facebook related data will be shown. In the same way, here some other tab. Here we can see the other tab. So other tab related data. Okay, this is about our J tabbed pan. All right. Now let us see next component, that is scroll pan. Right. This is some, listen carefully. This one, scroll. Already we have seen scroll bar in our AWT events. Here it looks like same, but here pan is that means whatever the already we have seen what mean by pan. So which contains some objects, component objects. So if the object being scrolled, very important. Listen. So before examples are directly we can explain, but here 2-3 different objects are going to be involved here. So first I will execute the program. Later I will come to this description. So here I'm going to execute with the help of applet. Okay. So we are going to see about scroll bar, no? Okay. Okay. So here, sorry. Oh, 1 minute. So sorry. Here I have to take one more package. Okay. Now here we're executing what? Applet code. So where is your applet code? In this file only. So to execute applet code, what we have to use? Applet viewer. Right. So see here, very important. Observe this one first. First here, what has been there? Button 0, button 1, button 2, button 3, and many things are there. So first, if you see this example, later we can understand. Whatever you are seeing here is one window. Next, when I'm going to click on this one, see, when I'm scroll this one, see, this is one window, this is one window, this is one window, this is one window. Otherwise, if I go here, this is one window. That means here scroll pan, which can contain multiple windows, okay, view areas. Okay, first view area is what? For example, when you are going to execute the program, first view is this one. Okay, next when I'm going to scroll this one, view is also going to be changed. Okay, now I will show you the concept. Now you can understand clearly about the concept. See, I will show you this one, show the output, and I will explain. See, so here, sorry, 1 minute. Okay, so see, if the object is being scrolled, that means here internally I have added how many? So see, for JPanel I have added a grid layout 20 in 20. That means in this 20 buttons are there horizontally, and in vertically also I have added 20 buttons by using these two for loops. Okay, here concept is if the object is being scrolled is larger than, that means if the object is, listen carefully, if these buttons are only limited, for example, if you see initial output, how many are there? For example, 1 2 3 4 are there, and here nearly 15 and 12 are there. For example, if I have taken only 12 buttons and vertically and 4 buttons horizontally, then what happens? The view can be only in one window. No need of scroll bars. Who added the scroll bars? I have not added any scroll bars. So see, I will change this example for you, and you can understand what happens here. So see, here I am going to change some 4 into 4. For example, only 4 into 4 for our 4 into 4. Here I am going to change these things as I less than 4 and j less than 4, and I'm saving this one. Okay, now see, you can view your scroll pan as, see, so again 20 buttons have added. 1 minute, I have not saved, I think. Anyway, now I have saved it. Oh, 1 minute, something is added here. 1 minute, I will show you. Sorry, I am changing this program. Actually the code is what we are executing is in this file. Anyway, right here I have to change it. So 4, and here I'm placing it as a 4, and here also I'm taking as a 4 and 4, 4 and 4. Now I'm saving it. So you can observe clearly. First you observe this output. What happened? Multiple buttons are there, so that we are getting this scroll bar. Sir, if a limited number of buttons are there which can be set it to our window, what happens? So now I have taken small output. So what happens? Let us see. Limited number of buttons I have taken here. So you can observe what happens. See, is there any scroll bar here? Is there a scroll bar? No scroll bar. Why? Because the whatever you are having applet, these buttons are sufficient here. Only one window is needed. If more number of components are going to be added, then automatically we are not going to create anything here. Automatically scroll bar is going to be added. If vertically, I will show you vertical, sir. In above example, in before example, I have taken what? Both the vertical and horizontal scroll bar. See here, I am having a constant called as vertical scroll bar as needed. That means what? Whenever it is not sufficient, the components are not sufficient vertically, then what happens? Defaultly your scroll bar is going to be added. If horizontally it is not sufficient, for example the space is not sufficient for adding the components, then horizontally also it is going to increase the size of your pen. Automatically scroll bar is going to be added. Okay, for example, I will take the same example here. Can you look any scroll bar here for this window? No. Now you can look. See, I'm going to take notepad example only. So see, here you can take. Why we are going to get scroll bar here? Whatever the window which is visible, it is not sufficient. So scroll bar is added. If I remove this one, whatever the content that is present here, after this one, then what happens? This no need of you having your scroll bar. Okay. In the same way here also, if scroll bar is, sir, can we have only vertical scroll bar? Can we have only horizontal scroll bar? Yes, we can have. So I will take this example once again. So here what I will take, for example, total how many are there here? 8 are there. Here I will take 0 for example. Okay, and I'll save this program. Okay, 1 minute. Here I will take 8. So here we are going to get how many? 4, 4, 16 we are going to get. Anyway, I will decrease the size of your applet so you can observe clearly. I will decrease. If I decrease the size of your applet, what happened? Visible area is going to be decreased. Then automatically components require what? Some additional scroll pan. So now see, only you can see what? Vertical scroll pan. Okay, you can observe. Okay, sir, I need horizontal, sir. Just change these things. Just place 0 and just place 8, for example. Then now we are going to get what? Only see now. Is there any vertical scroll bar? Is there? No, because I have added horizontally. So only horizontal we can have. So in first example, what we have seen, I have shown you both vertical and horizontal scroll bars. In next example, I have removed both vertical and horizontal scroll bars. In next example, I have shown you only vertical scroll bar. In next example, I have shown you both vertical and only horizontal scroll bar. So all the cases we have seen. Okay. Now let us go to this. Once again, I will show you the description about this scroll pan. See, if the object being scrolled is larger than the viewable area, what is meant by viewable area? Viewable, let us consider this is my viewable area. Whatever you are seeing is viewable area. So if I want to see after this RA, after this one, what I have to do? I have to scroll this one so that only you can get this. If I leave this one, what happens? This is one more view. See, first one is what? If I take in this way, whatever you are seeing is one viewable area. Next, if I change the scroll bar, see here, this is another view. That means what? We can have different views if you are having a scroll bar. So viewable area, horizontal or vertical scroll bars can be added automatically. Next, the viewable area is called as viewport. Now see, this is called as one viewport. If I change the scroll bar, this is called as one viewport. Viewport is nothing but what? It is a window in which component being scrolled is displayed. That means what? Initially, this is one viewport. If I scroll this one, you are going to get what? One more viewport. Okay, this is about your scroll pan, J scroll pan.